So the last practice that we're going to do is the reflecting bird. So I still need to start off with a square note card. So when you get your new note card, you're going to be making sure that it's a square, measuring it out 3 inches by 3 inches. I draw my line, I cut it out as close as I possibly can. Okay, get rid of the little part. Okay, now I need to look in my book. We just finished the rotating rabbit, so I need to go to the reflecting bird. All right, that's on page 30. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw the line that you see here. So as you can see, the process is very similar to what we've already done. Again, make sure it's corner to corner. It doesn't matter if the line is exactly what you see. Just make sure you're cutting out corner to corner. Okay, so now I need to cut out this line right here. So I'm going to draw that in. Okay, so I'm going to cut that out. All right, so I'm going to place it back on the table and put it back together again, so the next step's a little bit easier. All right, so it's showing me that I need to slide it down. This is just like the translation lady, but before I tape it, I need to flip it over. So what I do is I take this, and I have the note card lines showing right now, so I'll know when I flipped it. I bring it down, and I flip it over. So I shouldn't have any note card lines showing on this because it's actually the back side. Okay, then I'm going to tape that down. Oop, got stuck there. So I tape it to one side, pull it back, press it right up next to the edge, and then pull my tape over. Okay, next step, same thing, I'm looking at this piece right here. I slide it over just like the translation lady, but then I flip it over. So I'm going to put it back where it was. I have note card side showing. Slide it over and flip it over. So I shouldn't have note card lines showing on this side. So I'm going to tape it in place. Pull it back. And flip it back over. Again, I taped way over the line, so I need to cut that off. Okay, so I have my bird ready to go. And again, I need to find the original corner and trace it on some free draw paper. So my original corner, right here. Okay, it's the corner I did not cut. I'm going to line it up with the corner of my paper and I'm going to trace it. Okay, now when I slide it over, it doesn't match up. None of my sides match up. Okay, this one looks close, but really it's not the same. Okay, so when we taped this on, we flipped the card over. So that means I need to flip this over and it matches up. So every time you trace it, you're going to have to flip it to find the side that matches. Oops. Okay, so now I slide it over. I have to flip it again. And I just rotate. Oh, there it is. Rotate till I find the side that matches. Now, if you ever get stuck and you can't find the side, go back to where you were, put it back in the spot, flip it over, and then try to rotate and find something that's going to match up right here. So the teacher shouldn't have to do that for you. You guys can figure that out. Okay, so I go all the way across, then I'm going to go down. Now, I can't remember what side I was on, so I'm going to try to match this up again. That doesn't match up. I must have been on this side. Okay, so now I know when I move it down, I flip it over and I find a side. Nope, not that one. Oh, right there. And then I continue tracing. Again, you need to have your translation lady, your rotating rabbit, and your reflecting bird all traced onto these free draw papers completely done before you can get your final note card. When you start your final note card, and you can pause this video if you're not ready for this and play it when you are ready. When you start your final note card, you're going to cut it into a 3" by 3" square. Your goal for this final note card is to not have it look like a lady, a bird, or a rabbit. You just want to change it from a square. My only requirements for you on this is that you cut corner to corner. So if I want to cut corner to corner and have it look like this, that's fine. It doesn't have to be anything specific. If I want to use lines that are a little more geometric, that's fine. I just need to cut corner to corner. Okay? And then you choose a method, a rotating, translation, or reflection, and you choose how you're going to tape it. So I have some examples. Here's a smaller one right here, and I'm going to outline my original corner here so you guys can see it. Okay, so I have changed this from a square to something that doesn't resemble a square at all. Okay, I cut whatever lines I wanted, but I used rotation when I taped it. Okay, so you can see that this piece that was cut out here was rotated over here. You can see that this piece right here was rotated up here. You can choose whichever one you want to work with, but you cannot make it look like a rabbit, a bird, or a lady. You have to come up with your own designs on the side. Okay, when you are done with your tracing papers, oops, knocking stuff over. When you're done with all 3 tracing papers, you show it to the teacher. She gives you the final note card. You make your final note card. The teacher does need to check it to make sure that it's taped correctly before you can get your watercolor paper. Okay, when you get your watercolor paper, you trace it the same way you trace this one. You're going to trace it in pencil. Then you're going to trace it in Sharpie. And yes, I want you to trace in pencil first because a lot of mistakes are made when you're tracing your final on here. I want you to be able to trace it in Sharpie when all the mistakes are corrected. In the next video, I'm going to show you guys how to do the watercolor mixing after you finish getting your watercolor paper and your Sharpie on your watercolor paper.